Will you sit down, Mrs. Savage?
We waited to say goodbye to you, Mother.
I do not like thee, Lily Bell. The reason why I cannot tell, but this I know and know full well. I do not like thee, Lily Bell.
She's been chanting that the whole way here.
Your family is leaving, Mrs. Savage. Wouldn't you like to say goodbye to them? They would like to say goodbye to you, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, the fireflies are out. How lovely. What makes the fireflies light up, Doctor? Are they mating?
I really couldn't say, Mrs. Savage.
I thought you'd know. Isn't this a bug house?
This is the cloisters. This is to be your home. I am Dr. Emmett.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if human beings glowed like fireflies while they were mating? Do you light up, Lily Bell? Lord knows you're flighty.
Oh! We may as well leave, Titus. She's going to be unpleasant again.
And now surely, Mother, you're not going to let us depart in such an atmosphere of bitterness.
50 needles and 50 pins and 50 dirty Republicans.
She is determined to take the wrong attitude.
It's futile.
Well, time will take care of this. Come, Samuel.
Doctor, I'll send down for more of her clothes later. We couldn't pack but one grip under the circumstances.
Well, Sunday's Visitor's Day, if you'd care to bring them down then.
My sister's leaving for Paris next week, but we'll make arrangements. Good night, Mother.
If you need anything, Mrs. Savage, Miss Wilhelmina will take care of you.
We have a lovely garden out there. You'll be able to see it in the morning. You know, when I was a child, we said 30 needles and 30 pins. You've added 20 more dirty Republicans.
It's a fault of mine, exaggeration. It's stupid of me to try to irritate them like this. I just irritate myself. Well, I suppose it has to be exasperating now to be funny later.
I noticed one of its eyes is missing. It must have dropped out in the office. I'll be sure to look for it as soon as they leave.
Don't bother. It fell out last fall at the opera. I would have found it, but the usher was so nasty about my lighting matches during the magic fire music. You know what this is, don't you?
Suppose you tell me.
It's a teddy bear. Surely you've seen one before.
Oh, yes, but not quite that big.
Do you know what I do with it?
I couldn't guess.
I sleep with it.
Do you?
Yes, I do. You? Are you going to talk to me as if I were an imbecile too?
Now, we mustn't be hostile.
Of course not. You haven't harmed me. Would you care to know why I sleep with it?
If you'd care to tell me.
I don't care. And I'll tell you. I get lonely. I'm too old to have a lover and too fastidious to sleep with a cat.
Then by all means, you must take it to bed with you here. Would you like to remove your hat?
If I'm going to spend the rest of my life here, I might as well.
It's a mighty saucy hat.
A 10-cent piece of felt and 3 chicken feathers. $85. Why economy should be expensive, I don't know.
It takes imagination.
And the blood of pirates. But I wanted it. I've wanted a hat like this since I was 16. For all the good it does me now. You take it. I don't need a hat here. Perhaps you can use it for something. I'm not at all sure what.
No, you better keep it. You might need it.
Dear, dear, my hair must look like the matted end of a coconut.
Oh, I don't think so. It's a heavenly color.
You should have seen it last year. It was bright red. Then, just to be different, I dyed it black with a white streak in the middle. I looked like nothing so much as a skunk. Finally, I just gave up and tinted it blue. It goes with everything.
It will certainly go with your room. Would you like to go up and get settled?
Is it time to lock me up?
I wouldn't dream of locking you up. Did you bring a suitcase?
My daughter did. I wasn't consulted.
Well, I'll grab it and take you up. You can wait here.
Alone?
Of course.
No handcuffs?
We have the honor system.
Honor system indeed.
Hello.
Miss Willie says the bars are only there to keep the world outside.
Corny, isn't it? Oh, it's alive!
Now, Fairy, you must stop frightening yourself.
The poor thing is quite harmless.
You mean it won't bite?
It won't shed, lay eggs, or bark. And, to the best of my knowledge anyway, it's unvexed by sex. It couldn't be less trouble.
Well, in that case, any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. You must be Mrs. Savage. I'm Florence Williams.
How do you do?
We've been expecting you all evening. We're so glad to have you with us. And may I introduce Fairy May?
Say you love me.
But we've just met.
Oh, you don't have to mean it. I just feel wonderful when people say they love me.
Well, I'm sure everyone loves you.
You see? I told you she wouldn't be spoiled. Welcome to the cloisters. Climate best by government test.
Thank you.
And this is our Hannibal. And this is our Mrs. Patty.
How do you do, Mrs. Patty?
I hate everything in the world, but most of all, I hate lightning, skunk cabbage, custard, mustard, spiders, blisters, gurgles, mice, keys, bees, ragweed, chloroform, rhubarb, barnacles, bats, broken glass, eels, crumbs, drunks, tombstones, gallstones, salt, and thunder!
Why don't you like rhubarb?
Mrs. Patty won't answer you, Mrs. Savage. She'll only recite the things she hates.
Sweet but stubborn.
Mrs. Patty stopped talking some 20 years ago.
Why?
She got mad,
Her husband told her to shut up.
and she did.
She gave up conversation for life.
But she's only giving up electricity for Lent.
You're a woman of wisdom, Mrs. Patty. There's only one thing wiser than saying very little, and that's saying nothing at all. Would you like to hold it?
She likes you.
I like her.
Oh, and you haven't met Jeff yet. Come here, Jeff.
Please excuse my left hand.
Certainly. Is it a toothache?
Jeff's face is scarred, and he likes to spare people.
Well, you don't have to spare me. I have to look at myself every morning.
Dr. Emmett refuses to let me wear a bandage.
Well, we have to humor our doctors once in a while.
And now you've met everyone. We're a small group in this wing, and I hope you find us comfortable to be with.
But Mrs. Savage hasn't met everyone. She hasn't met the Holy Terror.
Of course. How stupid of me.
Where is he, Florence?
Well, I don't know. He was here just a minute ago. John Thomas?
He may have gone out in the hall.
I'll go check. John Thomas!
You won't hurt her, will you?
Gracious, why should I?
Why, you won't object, will you?
Well, what is John Thomas?
Her son, what did you think?
Here?
Oh, yes, he was born here.
I can't. Oh, look. Asleep on the floor. My husband told me I'd be a bad mother. Mrs. Savage, this is my son.
You do like children, don't you, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, everyone's but my own. How old is he?
5.
He's big for 5 months.
No. No, 5 years.
I meant years.
You'll have to excuse me. I have to put him to bed now. He has measles. I do hope you won't catch them. Excuse me.
That was exceedingly kind of you, Mrs. Savage, not to notice anything wrong.
There wasn't any time to explain, but you were like lightning.
Poor Florence isn't well. We pretend for her sake. We hope you will too.
Oh, I will.
I think you should understand right away, Mrs. Savage, that except for Florence, the rest of us are free to leave whenever we choose to.
But we don't go because there's no better place to go.
You're a very lucky woman to be accepted here, Mrs. Savage. If I do say so myself. And I do.
Oh, do be quiet.
Tyrant!
What is that?
That rude noise is the signal for us to go to our rooms.
It's the evil of the machine age. Perfect pistons and no manners.
Well, ours not to reason why. I wonder why no one ever quotes that first line. It's someone blundered.
Good night.
I didn't hear you. We never say that. It means there's no more.
No more of what?
Oh, there's no more of so much.
Don't let Jeff's manner disturb you. His plane was shot down during the war. He hasn't quite recovered.
Oh, was his face badly burned?
No, not at all. Jeff bailed out, but he lost his crew. His scars go deeper than we can see.
Surely you've guessed by now, Mrs. Savage, that Hannibal and I are the only ones here free to leave. But we couldn't tell you that in front of the others. We pretend for their sake. Oh. I'm sorry, Mrs. Patty. I'd forgotten you were still here. I didn't mean you, anyhow. Oh, I could tear my tongue out. Would you excuse me, please? If I don't apologize, she'll sulk.
Fairy has the gift of good for saying the wrong thing.
I should think it would take a bit of doing to apologize to someone who won't talk and sulks anyhow.
You'll get used to Mrs. Patty. Just treat her like a clock. Look at her to see how the day goes, but don't expect much of an answer. She's happy at her easel.
Oh, is she an artist?
I don't know whether she is an artist or not, but she paints.
Portraits?
Seascapes, actually, which is rather odd because she's never seen the ocean.
I forgot to warn you, Mrs. Savage. Stay awake. If you go to your room, don't sleep.
What did she mean about not sleeping?
None of us sleep here.
Where do you sleep?
We don't. Oh, we go to our rooms. We've agreed to that in principle, but we never close our eyes. When you go to sleep, today ends, and when today ends, tomorrow begins. Today we're safe, and tomorrow may be filled with disaster. You won't catch us sleeping. Could anything be simpler?
Not much.
Today is the only certainty.
Hannibal, you heard the buzzer. Why aren't you in your room?
I am in spirit, and everyone says it's the spirit that counts. Remember, fight the night.